ever get any money from Costello?
No.
And did you ever get any money from Meyer Lansky?
I never got money from any of those fellas.
None of those
None
fellas?
of those fellas. None of these that I've been reading about, or none that I knew. They never gave me anything.
None of the Shetties?
No. I
think-
don't even speak to the... I mean, I met that Charlie once or twice. I don't even talk to him.
You don't like him?
I was conscious of the fact that he had a reputation for being an outstanding bookmaker.
You ever hear him referred to as the Prime Minister of the Underworld?
That term I did not.
Also known as Duck Corella. I refuse to answer on the grounds of independent. Got any business? I refuse to answer on the grounds of attempted criminal. You have any profession? I refuse to answer on the grounds of made in. Have any occupation? I refuse to answer on the grounds of made in. Are you a known racketeer?
Good evening, folks. I'm Joe Lanou, your host for Interrogation, the show where a panel of law enforcement officers and intel service veterans watch real interrogation videos and comment on the tactics used by police to extract confessions. Let's meet our panel tonight. We've got Jason, 30-year police veteran and co-inventor of the 3D response school safety system, which we talk about a lot, and we'll probably talk about it again here tonight. We've got Lamar. He's an intel service veteran of all things spooky, has experience in air quotes, I can't tell you about it stuff, but he absolutely knows what he's talking about when it comes to tactics used in interrogations. And that's going to be our panel tonight. We may have a special guest tonight, a Dr. Doug Ahern Esquire. He's a practicing attorney and a former federal law enforcement officer veteran. So he would be an interesting person to hear his point of view on the legal side of some of these interrogations that we watch. But tonight, guys, we've got ladies' night. Literally, we've got two very, in my opinion, very good examples of tactics used by investigators when they're dealing with women killers, a particular type. But Jason, Lamar, I'll give both of you just a few seconds if you want to give any comments on tactics you might use if your suspect was a woman. Are there any special tools that you would bring in, or does it open the door to some other tactics that would work with women that wouldn't work elsewhere? What do you guys think about that? Do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, just real quick on the intel side, if at all possible, we would always use a woman to have a conversation with a woman, and that's because some of the manipulative tricks that women can use to manipulate men are less effective on other women. It kind of disarms them a bit.
Well, what if you were what if you were a supervisor and you're setting this? We know how it's done. You're going to set the scene for the box. You're going to determine who's going to go in, who's got the best chance to build a rapport if that's what you're looking to do, or extract what you're looking for. Would you send in a woman to interrogate a woman, or what are some of the factors you might look at to make a decision?
If that's to me, basically, whichever detective is assigned to the case, I've always looked at, and I've supervised detectives, who has the most knowledge of the case, who can decipher, regardless of sex of the suspect, which detective has put the most hours into, knows the most about this topic, and can decipher truth from fiction, because they have such an intimate knowledge of it. But I do agree with Lamar.
You've given me the DEI answer that you're going to go with the most qualified candidate.
No, that's a non-DEI answer.
Non-DEI candidate. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll buy that. I will say that there's a certain personality, and I think we see it in both of these, of the damsel in distress, if that makes any sense. That sometimes a male interrogator, a male investigator, I think is sometimes a benefit. But look, both these videos are pretty long. We're gonna have a lot of comments, so let's get into the first case. Let's see what this one's all about and what you guys think. So dad goes to the house, finds his son dead because his the son's wife said, "Hey, can you go check on Gary? He was supposed to go hunting, and hadn't heard from him." So he goes there and finds his son dead in his bed. Here's what we know before going in: that Tasha Bentley gave statements that she spent the day running errands while Gary was scheduled to go hunting, just like I said. It was discovered that Tasha purchased a $1.6 million life insurance policy just prior to this. They did a forensic analysis on the firearm used, and lo and behold, it was Tasha's gun.
Our son's almost 5. We've waited too long. We're not getting any younger. I see death every day. I see accidents every day.
Yep.
We need to take care of ourselves. I was almost wondering, what would $2 million look like?
So your husband, based on his income of $65,000, can get as much as $1.625 million.
Hi, this is Amy.
What is it you want to tell me about the situation?
I know that Tasha, which was Gary's wife, is having an affair. She plans to leave him on January 14th.
Okay, and who is she having an affair with?
His name is Anthony.
Did she ever talk about her relationship with Anthony, other than the fact that you knew that they was having an affair, but anything about any talk of marriage or the fact that they were just hanging out together?
There was a lot of talk. That day, actually, I asked her, she's always wanted 4 kids. So I asked her on Sunday, I said, have you and Anthony talked about kids? Do you want any more kids? And she said, well, they are probably not going to, but Anthony said that if that was something that she wanted, then he would give it to her. I do know that she had planned on moving him in when she got an apartment, because he was living with his mom or sister, or a combination of both.
Man, I ain't no bad person, sir. I swear to God. I only try to live my life, man. It's the right way. And I got caught up in this stuff, man, and I would never in my life would do anything like this. I tried to help her out. She said that she feared for her life, man. And I said, Tasha, I don't want to put these on my sister's house. You know what I mean?
Why did she say she feared for her life?
Because they was arguing, I guess, and all that. I swear. You know what I mean? She said that he'd be punching holes in the wall and throwing things. That's what she said to me. And she said she feared that he was going to do something to her. That's honest God truth.
She used the words he was punching holes in the wall?
Well, she said he has, yes, before and stuff. I mean, I don't know for sure if she was meaning that day. Mm-hmm. I just know she said he gets angry. You know what I mean? I swear to you.
Now that you know that I got involved in all this.
Yes, sir.
How does that make you feel that now, with all those handguns got put in the car, in the back, your fingerprints all over these?
I know, sir. That's what I was saying. That's what I was telling moms and everybody. I said, Lord knows, I would never take no handguns out of nobody's car with my bare hands and put them in a house if I knew something was wrong. I swear to God, I was just trying to help her out. I swear. I would never, sir, like I was telling you, I watched TV. I would have never did nothing like that. On my life, I wouldn't. I swear, I was just trying to help her. And I swear, I told her, I said, Tasha, you have to come get these guns tomorrow. I said, because, I just can't have these guns over my sister's house. I swear to God, I didn't know anything about nothing was wrong like it. All I was trying to help her out. I said, in my mind, I said, well, Lord, if I didn't help her out and something happened to her, I would feel bad, you know what I mean, for not helping her, though. I swear. The thing was, I said, what the hell happened, Tasha? Like that. And she said, well, what did they say at work? I said, they said that somebody broke in your house and they killed your husband. She said, yeah. I said, well, y'all okay? She said, yeah, I'm okay. And then I proceeded on after all that, talking about that. I said, I swear, I'm sorry what happened to your husband, and I'm glad what nothing happened to you and your son. I said, but please, because at that point of time, I didn't really know what the hell was going on. I was like so fucking messed up about the whole, because I had some guns over my sister's house. I said, you have to come down here, Tasha, and get these guns down there. From down here, you have to come down here. You know what I mean? When you coming down here like that. All I know, the honest to God truth to you, or my kids, my God, I would never had nothing to do with this if I'd have knew whatever she did. All I was trying to do was help her. I swear to God.
Oh, I know.
I swear.
Well,
Here's why I believe you. I would never put my hands on no guns. If she told me she had did something, I would have told her, if you would get the hell away from me with that, I would have probably called y'all or something. If she would have told me she'd kill somebody or something, I would have never took no guns out of nobody's in the car with my bare hands. Swear to God to you, and walk them guns back there. Well, Samuel, I ain't gonna lie to you, sir. I would never. I mean, I've been around 47 years, sir, and I would never in my life took no guns out of somebody's car, knowing that somebody hurt somebody or was gonna hurt somebody with my bare hand. You know, I never in my life would have did that. That was the stupidest, dumb. Like my daddy said, you know, Andy, I know you was trying to help that girl. He said, but when it's come to guns and stuff like that, you just don't know where stuff like that came from or what happened. You know, you just I sit there and, you know, man, I'm just crazy, man. And it could have happened to anybody, but you just have to learn you can't do stuff like that. And I really didn't mean to hurt nobody. I didn't hurt nobody. I didn't mean to hurt nobody by doing this, but I hurt myself and my family. And I just didn't mean to put myself in this position. I like Tasha, man, and I didn't want Tasha to get hurt. I felt if she got hurt, yeah, I love you, I did, man. You know, I felt I had big feelings for her, you know.
There is one more thing that may come up.
Yes, sir.
Only because she put you under the car.
Yes, sir.
You're not going to be accused, right? Okay.
Yes, sir.
You're fine.
Yes, sir.
But you may have to say something important about what she did.
Yes, sir. You mean like by bringing guns to me and stuff?
Right.
Yes, sir.
You going to be okay with that?
Okay, so there's the stage set. That's what they know a bit more. What's not real clear in this story is that the reason the guns are important, that the guns are at this gentleman's house, is that the murder was staged like a robbery. It wasn't made real clear in the beginning, but you'll pick it up as the interrogation goes. The murder was staged as a robbery, and that's why that information that Anthony just gave was pretty important to interrogators. But let's get on into the interrogation part. But keep in mind what I said. I think the damsel in distress is in play here, and I think the investigators played it pretty well. Go back to it.
Show me again on your phone that information, if you have it, the text information that you showed the people.
No, I hadn't showed you anything.
Oh, I thought you showed me your phone.
Remember my son had my phone last night?
I must have missed that one.
That's okay. He was playing games on the phone. You want text messages, phone calls?
Both.
Starting from...
Well, you said you left the house about 8:30 in the morning, is that correct? Okay, so anything right after 8:30 is when you started texting him or calling him. So Sunday, looks like your Sunday, December 10th, looks like 8:52 a.m. Love you, baby. Get some good rest, sleeping in. We are getting breakfast, Christmas shopping, and going to see Amy. Good luck hunting, baby. See you later tonight. And then at 11:48, you say, in the woods hunting Boo?
I call him my boo.
Oh.
What's the question without the... Because I hadn't heard from him. So I'm like, so are you in the woods hunting? Like, what are you doing?
Okay. And then it says, hey, Boo, haven't heard from you. You get a big one. And that was at 3:48. So that's all the texting that you did then? Okay. And then, so you're texting on Sunday.
Yeah, because I was trying to think of why I hadn't heard from him. And I'm like, hey, did you get a big one? Are you just so excited you're not responding? Are you hunting without your phone?
Okay, I hate to cut it so quick. What did you guys think about the way she said that? Yeah, I call him my boo. Very affectionate, wouldn't you think? Or what? Isn't that the impression you think she's trying to? Do you think let me back up. Knowing what the investigators know, they know that she's been sleeping with another guy. The marriage is not all that great, and she's trying to be like cutesy, like, oh, I call him my boo. Do you guys think that's not a tactic of her? The police don't buy it.
It absolutely is. She's trying to lay it on thick. But obviously she doesn't know that they know she's been having an affair. So it's this emotional anchoring on, I care for him so much. Obviously, I would never want anything bad to happen to him.
But I think as an investigator, I like that in the beginning, and I'll go Columbo, because when I destroy them and they realize that I know everything they've been saying was fake, all their emotions was fake, then we can get that out of the way, because that's no longer going to work with me. Because I'll go with the damsel in distress. There are some women that, and maybe rightfully so, they can use their coyness and to try to push you off on suspicion. Am I making any sense, Jason?
Yeah, this goes back to what I'd say in every one of these shows is the detectives are doing a good job of letting her set the stage for what she wants him to hear. And the advantage falls on the detective because the detective knows more than she knows that he knows. So let her talk, let her set the stage, and then come back and disrupt her stage as much as you can with facts. And I think that's what he's doing.
Yeah, and you're saying kind of the same thing I'm saying. I like this because I think the disruption is more pivotal. I think it's better when you're able to, like, I know you didn't love your husband. When you start cracking on her, I think that they break real good, because I think they go back and almost feel stupid. They've been trying all this. Okay, let's go back to it, but that's something I'm watching.
Is your phone in the house? Yes, this was December 9th, so this was my first call. December 10th.
Is it the home sweet home?
Mm-hmm. That's the house. And Gerald, there's my father-in-law. Where it says 2, if I touch it, it'll show.
Mm-hmm. Well, what I'm looking at, let's talk about the phone calls. At the 3:18 p.m. outgoing call, what was that call about?
I called to see if he heard from him or talked to him.
Okay.
And he said no.
Okay. And then at 4:33.
I called him again to tell him I was leaving Amy's. We had some dinner. We might do a little shopping. I really didn't know at that point in time to still go do any shopping. Or going home.
And
he had said his brother Mikey was coming over. And I said, well, maybe when he gets there, if you ain't heard from Gary, I ain't heard from Gary, you two can ride over there.
Okay. Then at 6:42, oh, it's a text message, I guess. You make it home.
He had texted me that I make it home.
And then 6:42, outgoing call, lasted 3 minutes.
Yeah, I called him and told him that I was on my way. Because he had asked me if I made it home, and I just went ahead and called him instead of trying to text and drive.
Mm-hmm. And then the 7:15.
That was after I left the house. After I'd already come home. And then I called him and said, hey, something don't feel right at the house. I don't know if somebody's been there. I don't know. I said, I didn't want to go in. Just asleep. How do you describe that uncomfortable feeling you get?
What do you think brought that on? Hasn't the garage door been opened up before? No, not usually, but it has on occasion.
Even if Gary was home all day, but I'm still working shut.
Never have left the house. I know I've left the house. I come to work and I have to call my wife and say, did I close the garage door down? Because I may have forgotten. Be in a hurry, something.
You know how many times I've done that, and he has said things to me. No, you got so much stuff in the garage, you can't leave it open. That I purposely sit and wait and watch that garage door go down. It's like when I pull in the garage, I pull it forward and I back up. And while I'm sitting there backed up, I hit the door and watch it go down all the way before I ever pull out of the driveway. Because he's very adamant. I mean, he's got all his tools in the garage, the lawnmower, the generator, the power washer, the but he always liked the door shut. Even, and it sounds crazy, even when I would move my car out to get the lawnmower out, knowing we're going to put the lawnmower right back up, he would put the garage door down.
Mm-hmm.
He said he didn't want the grass blowing in the garage.
But what about the...
So that just was odd to me that the garage was up and he wasn't outside. And usually if he's outside...
Where was this tree stand at for deer hunting at?
All the way at the back of the property, like near a fence, like up and...
And you said before that you knew you went hunting supposed to go hunting from 10 to 2?
He said the best time to go hunting was from 10 to 2. That he was going to sleep in. And he was going to try to get up and go up there about 10:30. And see how long he can sit. Come back down. And go back up. At like 2 o'clock. Or after. And sit till dark. But there's been many times I've come home. And he's still up there. And the garage door is down. Because if the garage door is ever up, him and the dogs are outside.
So if the garage door is up in this time, and he's outside, maybe he went to go check on his tree stand? I'm just kind of curious as to why he didn't go look for him.
You know what? That's a good comment by
I looked in his
Loeb
car.
there. I'm going to pause it. Jason, do you get offended when they're lying to you like this?
No, I'm actually internally smiling, going, I got you. Just keep talking.
Right. That was kind of my point in the very beginning. And I would say she's not very sophisticated. I would have her. I'd have her in one setting. If she's guilty, I'd have her saying it, I think. What do you think, Lamar?
Yeah, I agree. The rule we always live by was let a liar lie. They essentially have given themselves a shovel. They're going to keep digging until they exhaust themselves. And then when you flip it on them, they're just done. Like they have no room to go anywhere.
Well, they're just so committed that there's no logical way out. There's no way you're going to logically explain all this. What about her over-explaining? We talked about the word salad or over-explaining. Is that a tell? Let's say you didn't have all the information. You're sitting down cold. Would that be a tell?
So here's the one thing how we would look at that. It's actually different for women because women are more social than men. So when men engage in the word salad, it's a bigger tell than women, because if you just sit and listen to women communicate, they can operate in the same way. So the indicator is not a gotcha as it would be if that was a guy sitting in that chair, in my experience.
I think she's selling it too much. It would get my antenna up, I believe. If it was a cold interview of the spouse of a dead man found in his home, probably would have antenna up anyway. This is the first person we're going to look at, by the way. But I think my antenna would have been up just by the way she's over explaining this garage, because it's a key point in this. What she says is that she was afraid to go in and go look for him, so she called his father to go check on him because the garage door was open. And that she makes a very hard point about even if he was taking the lawnmower out, he would put the garage door down. If I ever lifted up, he would get onto me. It was a big deal for him if the garage door was open.
She's really selling the point that this was a burglary. She's setting up the burglary story.
Right. She's trying anyway. Let's see her go. Let's see how much rope she gets around her neck.
And nothing looked out of the ordinary at the car. I don't know. I kind of like.
Okay, I like the pauses too. What about you guys? Just real quick on that. You like the pauses? It made her uncomfortable as hell.
Yep, I agree. And I'm also keen on our body language too. So just referencing previous episodes, guys will typically start to close up. Women are it's very common, especially when they're trying to appeal to your emotion, they are open. So you notice her arms aren't closed. And that right arm, it's almost like a reach for help. She's extending herself towards the person who she's trying to get to believe her.
A little off subject. What do you think about that furniture? That little triangle table? They get that out of the Reed catalog?
I actually kind of like it though. So, and this is something we kind of spoke about before the show started, or right when the show started. For women, you want to reduce the threat perception. So whereas a guy, you can put them in a corner, you can close them off, you close distance. With women, when they feel threatened, they're more inclined to just completely shut down.
Well, I agree. I think just in general, the little triangle table is kind of ingenious. There's no way that you're going to belly up to that and be comfortable. If you're sitting at a table, you can put your arms on it. The suspect can find some comfort, to help out maybe with anxiety. That table, I think, gives you anxiety when you sit there. It's kind of ingenious. You ever seen one like that, Jason? I haven't.
No, and I agree. It looks like an IKEA thing. I don't know. I've never seen a little table like that.
Man, it's got to be specifically made for interrogation room. Look, it's not big enough to do anything on, and it's cut at such an angle that you couldn't set up next to it on either side. It's a worthless table. Anyway, it caught my eye, and I thought that was interesting. We'll get back to it, but that table is. I think every police interrogation room should have one.
I had to look around. I looked around, but I didn't walk around. And I started walking towards the garage, and I got like a step or two.
Did you try going to the slider door on the one side and the other door on the other side of the house?
We rarely use the actual front door.
Just out of curiosity, if he was ill, how would you know to check on him? Maybe he fell down and hurt himself. As a wife, wouldn't you go check on him if he hurt himself? And that's why I'm curious that you didn't.
I didn't think about that.
I can't describe So after I looked in his truck, and he wasn't in there, and nothing looked out of place. It just looked ordinary. Mm-hmm. And I took, like a few steps towards the garage, maybe got 1 or 2 steps in the garage. And I remember looking at the door was shut. And then my first, because I'd been out of the car for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
So,
did he drink a lot?
Gary?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I know Saturday night, I know he had 1 glass of bourbon. He usually mixes that with ginger ale. I don't recall if he had a beer.
What about his guns? Where did he keep his guns at besides the safe?
As far as I know, they were all in the safe.
So if it doesn't bother you that he's drinking alcohol, smoking marijuana, having guns in the house, doesn't seem to raise a ruckus with you, and yet I'm still baffled by this thing that when you show up to the house and you see the garage door open, that there's no problem, so why didn't you go check on him, make sure he was okay? What if he had a heart attack or something? And at that moment in time that you needed to be in there to save him, you didn't go in.
So
That's
you
what I'm
notice
not
that
understanding.
that subtle shift, her left
Or did
arm
you guys
now
have
crossing her
something?
body, but
No
signals
problem.
defensive a bit.
All right, well, hold up. Let's get to it. So the subtle shift of her trying to utilize that table.
No, the subtle shift. So before she was open, her shoulders were kind of back, even though she was slouched. As soon as he kind of starts coming at her story, she shifts that left arm to cross her body. So if I were in the room with her, I would see like, okay, gotcha. She's starting to shift to defensive mode.
Jason, what do you think about that?
I don't think I would have picked up on that. I'm listening to her words, and I'm picking up more on. He's asking a great question right now about what if he had a heart attack and you had the opportunity to save him and you didn't. And her response is, and maybe that what Lamar's saying. Her response is kind of an oh shit physical response. That I like that question that he just asked.
I think that's the first stab into her armor. I think she's not. I think she's convinced. At least she's not blown it yet. You know, she's explaining everything. She's still the loving wife, and she talks about him very affectionately. But when he hit her with, well, how come you didn't go check? Maybe he was like had a heart attack or something. Need some help. She's like, oh shit. And in her mind, she was like, oh shit, I didn't think about that. She had nothing to cover it. Now, I think she's squirming. I don't know that I'll buy the defensive posture. Maybe. I think I'm going to blame. Look, I'm going to blame this table. When you get this squirming, you're looking for something to lean on. You're looking for something to, prop your arms on. That table is no help. I think the table makes you squirm more. I'll talk about it probably 3 more times tonight. The table.
I got a new nickname for you, Joe, because of that. But keep going.
Okay, cool. Let's see what she says.
No more than any other married couple, but I don't know why. But it just didn't feel right with that garage door being up and that door being open. We called Gerald and he said something's not right.
Okay. So how would you describe Gary as far as easygoing guy, make friends with everybody, had a temperament, pissed off people? How would you describe him?
The easygoing asshole.
Easygoing asshole?
Yeah.
How's that?
Oh.
I can understand easygoing, I can understand asshole, but you combine the two?
Yeah, because he's like that sarcastic. If you don't know him, you can't really tell if he's joking or not. Most people that don't know him think he's an asshole. But then once you get to know him, they're like, oh, you're really cool. You ain't really as asshole as I thought you were. You're just, sarcastic joker, gives people shit all the time.
That cause any enemies, any friction?
Nothing really talks
Anything
about.
to the point that somebody would want to hurt him?
Not that I know.
Because of Gary's death, of course, we're checking a lot of things. One of the things that we looked into, we found out was
Oh, really?
the life insurance policy on him. He was going to have $1,625,000.
Being requested.
Wow, why so much? What did he have to insure that was going to cost that much to cover you?
He called and got it all started.
Well, I guess he tried to take care of it, didn't he?
I guess that's why I let him do his thing. He was the hard-working man.
And I hate to keep harping on this, but it still keeps going back to the same thing. If he took such good care of you,
Why didn't I go in?
yeah, to check on him, to help him out, see if he was hurt or something.
In the car. Honestly, I didn't think Gary was there. Again, I don't know. That's what I tried to think about last night. What made me not? Why do you just get this feeling something ain't right?
Mm-hmm. That's why you didn't go in to help him out. That's what I don't understand. How would you describe your work at Signature?
Now,
Mhm.
now I have a permanent position at Summerfield. Before, I was on a flex path program to where I went to all different kinds of signature. But my mom,
Yeah.
in flex path, you just float around to different management positions that they have open in their different buildings. March is when I took a permanent position there at Summerfield.
And a permanent position, that's like, I think you said something before, that's like an 8 to 5 job or something like that. It's a salary job.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How do you accumulate overtime?
You know,
You know? How's your time? If you do work overtime, you get compensated for it anyway? No?
comes with the salary.
How often did you work late?
I tried to be off at 4:35. Maybe 1 or 2 nights a week. I wasn't able to get him until just recently, and they cut one of my employees.
Okay. Make a lot of friends there at Signature?
Yeah, I know a lot of people there.
Any of them in particular?
Let's touch the brakes. You think he's going to dive in with Anthony real quick? The boyfriend that she doesn't know the police know about?
I think he might be testing the waters to see if she even mentions him. That's my initial thought.
Yeah, no, he's laying the trap for her. Yeah, to either mitigate it or try to play it off before he dives in and says, I know about it. Wouldn't you think, Jason?
Yeah, either that. Another thing that he's got in his back pocket is her voice recording of the insurance policy that she was asking for more money. I think he's got a lot of ammo in his backpack right now where he could choose multiple angles to start turning the heat up.
And he's definitely done some damage with how come you didn't go check on him. That's just something that was a calculus in her story that she had made up how she was going to do this. Because, you know, in her mind, she's done this 100 times and it wasn't going to be a problem. She's so convincing that she would go in there. She would be the damsel in distress, the poor victim on a robbery here, lost her hardworking man husband. And in her mind, she'd be walking out the door. But I think the realization is coming to her real quick. And let's see what happens if he does bring up Anthony here.
Does Anthony's name ring a bell?
Bingo.
How are you associated with Anthony?
Friends outside of work, friends at work.
Describe friends outside of work.
We hang out.
Anytime you guys just get together after work, like go have a drink of coffee or something? Sure.
Go drink coffee after work.
Or anything, any kind of socializing after work. I noticed the hesitation there, so I'm asking. I think you wanted to say something a little bit more.
We went to have lunch. But that's all. After work,
During work,
we go for lunch during work.
what would you consider doing at lunchtime? Where would you go? What would you do?
We would go and get food. Go sit in the park, eat lunch, go back to work.
Any romantic affairs?
Yes.
So just really quickly, Joe, and I know
I'll say this was your romance.
I would say her shift in her communication tempo is now off. Again, remember at the very beginning, she couldn't shut the hell up with irrelevant details about her story, what was happening. Now where she's being asked to expound upon something, she's short on words. That, again, one of those big things that would jump out to me.
Well, 100%. And I brought this up in the very beginning. The damsel in distress is what I call it. When they use it almost flirty or a womanly way, if you will, difficult to describe, but you know it when you see it. when they're doing that, when she's laying down on her arms, when she talks so affectionately about her husband, like, I love him so much that you could never think that I would just, and I'll convince you that I love him so much, and so you won't look any further. Scrutiny will be bypassed by me, is what they think when they sit down. But it's almost comical to watch because it melts away, and I think we're at that point now where she realizes that he knows a lot more than she thought he did. And now she's no longer and what she's thinking is all that stuff I was talking about. I call him my boo. Yeah, you call him your boo while you're out doing lunch with your coworker over here, and he's doing the boo to you. So everything that she was trying to lay down before is now gone, and she just doesn't have any more tools in her toolbox, I think, other than being kind of snippy. But what do you think, Jason? We'll go back to it.
I agree with what Lamar said, that 100% she was very talky, and now she's very yes sir. A massive switch in her responses to him at this point with his questioning.
Yeah, and I just want to throw a comment out to B. You're not right. You are not right. But yeah, she rides the pony at lunch. But she realizes that, like I was saying, she's just not the innocent widow at this point. Everything wasn't great. You were throwing down with another dude. Let's see this unravel.
We've been intimate a few times.
You guys would know about this?
No.
Why would you think you'd be intimate with him? Something missing at home? What was missing at home?
I cared about him.
Why do you think he didn't care about you?
He got on me about my weight. He didn't like what I wore on vacation. He threatened divorce on me on vacation. I told him he was pushing me away. But I still wanted to be with him. And I wanted us to try to work things out. But I told him we had to make day for Christmas.
So how long has your romance been going on with Anthony?
Maybe a month or two. Was it November?
So how often were you intimate with him?
4 or 5 times.
What was going to happen on January 14th?
Amy's birthday.
No, something else was going to happen on January 14th. Between you and Anthony.
I talked about moving out.
And moving in with them? Down in Louisville? How do you think Gary would have taken that? What did Gary already know?
I knew a little bit. I told him if somebody else gave me attention, that I'd leave him for you. This morning.
So if I paint a picture, you leave the house at 8:30 in the morning on Sunday morning. You know that Gary's going to go hunting at 10 o'clock. You know I know the truth.
What?
Everything that we discussed. I know all these things.
Yeah, I would have talked about this.
Mm-hmm. But you didn't tell me about Anthony.
Okay, this is what I call the great reveal. That's when you're like, all right, I know you've been blowing smoke up my ass, and I know everything you said is BS from this point forward. Now I'm gonna let you know that I know everything you told me, and I probably know a hell of a lot more. So let's just make it easier on us, and let's get to the point. Jason, do you see these in interrogations? This point I'm speaking of?
But yeah, all the time. It's this is the fun part. Being an interrogator, this is where it gets fun.
And honestly, when you're there in person, there is a complete demeanor change in the person that you're talking to. There's a change in their eyes. Everything changes. I'm not saying necessarily for the bad, but you're changing the tone, how this conversation is going to go from that point on. When you lay it out there, it's like, hey, I know everything you said is a lie. I know everything you're just BSing me. You're blowing smoke. So now let's get down to the real stuff, because I'm about to ask you some real questions, and we're going to get real hard on how this is going to go. But there's a physical change that you can see when you're there in person that I've noticed. Maybe you two maybe telling me I'm blowing smoke myself, but I think there's a physical change you can see.
Oh no, you're 1,000% correct, Joe. We would jokingly call this the file drop or the data drop. And it sounds quirky, but you would be surprised what happens to people's physiology when you put a 1-inch thick folder on the table when you open it up, and they can see all the stuff that you have. They, as you said before, their lens, they feel the room close on them really fast, and they can't hide their response to it.
Well, Burton saw it. He put this up about the same time that he asked about what was going to happen on the 14th. Her facial expressions, the way she cut her eyes at him. And another thing is the suspect, this woman is not looking at she's looking at him differently. He's not an ally, and she has realized that. So she is she's not in love with the guy, but she's got to try to convince him. But I agree, Burton. I think that was the question that she finally knew. It's like, okay, this guy knows a lot more than this is the third thing he's led me down the lane and slapped me in the face with. But anything, Jason?
Yeah, when the interview first started, I noticed she's like crawling on the right in his face and very front and forward with him.
Almost flirty, right?
Yeah, and in this picture, I'm looking at a to-be defeated person, and she knows what's coming.
Yeah, she's not happy about it, but I'm curious to see. Let's see this one play out.
You didn't tell me about your affair with Anthony. Anthony works I think he works as a custodian at the same place you work at.
You didn't ask me about Anthony until today.
Mm-hmm. But you didn't come forward with it either.
Was I supposed to?
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to find out who killed your husband. And right now, if you were in my shoes, what would you think?
Me?
You have the means, you have the motive, you have the opportunity, you set things up, you're going out of the house by 8:30 when you normally sleep in at 8:30, you're past 8:30 on Sundays.
You didn't let me sleep on Saturday.
On Sundays, you normally sleep in. Sleep in until about 10 o'clock.
Normally every weekend he lets me sleep in.
Yeah. But this weekend, you didn't. This weekend by 8:30, you're out of the house. You need to be honest with me, because I know a lot.
I went to Amy's.
I know you went to Amy's. You went to Amy's and you picked up McDonald's on Boone Road.
$35.12 worth.
Yeah. Put yourself in my.
Okay, I want to make another point, because I think I make this almost in every episode, is that there are questions, simple questions that are difficult for someone to answer, and then there are questions that are easy for them to answer. And when the dividing line is one could incriminate me and one has no bearing, it's benign. They'll come up with all kinds of details, and I got receipts and things like that. But it's interesting. It's almost a relief in their demeanor when they're able to give information so freely. But pay attention to that, because I think he's going through some of this on some of her general errands run that day that, doesn't necessarily incriminate her.
What do you think? Who would be your primary suspect?
Me. I get it.
You didn't go in because you felt that there might be something wrong.
Yeah, I felt like somebody had been in our house.
Mm-hmm. How would you know that?
I don't know that.
But you didn't go in to help your husband.
I didn't know he was in there.
Because you didn't go look.
No, sir.
You said you didn't go look.
Correct.
And right now, my suspicions are that you helped set this up. Yes, you did. You know how I also know? You're not shedding any tears.
I've been crying all day.
Mm-hmm.
You can't look in my eyes and see I've cried all day. You can ask my family.
Not the things that I know.
What do you mean?
You've cried. I'm not going to deny that you haven't cried. But when you start talking about $1 million life insurance policy, you're talking about the drug abuse that's taken on in your house, you talk about the unattention or lack of affection, you talk about going into the arms of another man, you talk about having intimacy, you talk about moving in with this guy on January 14th, talk about leaving your husband. Oh, by the way, you can have it all. Set it up, have him killed, you got the insurance money, you did it.
Yes.
You willing to take a polygraph of that?
Yes.
What I'm talking about is murder. I'm talking about you hired somebody. That's why you were afraid to go in the house, because you knew what to expect. You knew your husband was murdered in that house. That's why you didn't want to go in.
No,
You had it all set up.
no, sir.
Yes.
I will look you that straight in the eye.
That's why you left the house that morning. You left at 8:30 in the morning. You didn't text message until afterwards. There's too many things that I found out in the last 48 hours, 24 hours. That just doesn't add up to me. And everything right now points at you. You had it arranged. That's why you didn't go in the house. And what I'm asking from you is to be straight with me, because you haven't been totally straight with me. I've had to fish things out of you little by little. And here's the seriousness of it all. If you don't want to be straight with me, that's fine. That's going to be up to you. But as I'm putting this puzzle together, I've got plenty of time, because there's no statute of limitations.
I understand.
And if you don't own up to what you did, and I go through all this, I guarantee you I'm going to try to make it stick as heavy as I can. As heavy as I can.
I did not hire someone to kill my husband. I did not ask anybody to kill my husband.
Did you kill him?
No.
You know what's funny?
What?
The bullet that killed him is the same bullet that matches your gun.
I did not kill my husband.
Why is it that it's a bullet from your gun that killed him?
I do not know.
Okay. Looks like they're doing the investigator switch. But before we go into this new investigator, any comments on the way he ended that little session he just had?
Yeah, he dropped the hammer on her. She's done. I mean, look at her posture, complete change. That's defeat right there. She knows that she has no wiggle room left.
Yeah, her game plan is rinsed. She's not sure what she's going to do next. She's trying to endure it to see how bad it is, I still think. But yeah, I think she's defeated. Jason, do you think she's hit the cracking point?
Maybe, maybe not. I wish he would have went a little harder on her. I would have been a little more aggressive with my words on how he did that. I think she's grasping for straws, and this is the point where I would come at it even harder than he did.
Hey man, do you ever just like slam your hand on the table or kick a table? You know, the noise where you're making a point in these type of situations.
Yeah, I've raised my voice. I've used cuss words. Shockingly, you get to a point and I have you dead to rights and multiple lies. And I think especially her being a female, where your little flirty game didn't work up front, and here's what I know, and then just flat out call her an effing liar. I don't need your confession. I have enough facts to throw you in prison right now. No, I would probably take
the whole thing about some officers do that and they use it very well. I'm not a table hitter or kicker. We were doing it real quick. We were doing an interview with a guy we just picked up on some whatever narcotics charges, and the investigator who's the case agent on it, he was trying to get him to flip. The guy was, I ain't no snitch. I ain't doing this. I ain't doing that. He's down there. He pulled out the reed. We're in a conference table, but he's pulled out the reed where he's moved down in there into his little personal space, and then he kicks the table. It was loud as shit. It kind of surprised me. But everybody just maintained their composure in there. And he says a few more things to the guy, and then he walks out like he's done with him. Go back later, he fractured his foot kicking the table. You guys need to be careful doing that.
Not that hard. Just okay. Go ahead.
No, it was
your little
fun.
triangle table probably would break.
Look, man, the triangle table, you don't need to get aggressive. It's aggressive enough. Does it work for you? Let's see what this guy does. I'm telling you, triangle table is genius.
I've been doing this for years and years. I've been doing this for 13 years of investigations. That's why I'm where I'm at in the...
Look, it's uncomfortable for the cop. That table makes everyone uncomfortable. Look at the way he's sitting at it. It's like, it's just a weird thing. It's like, this table's great for interrogation rooms.
The spot is the supervisor because I've worked all these cases. I've worked the Elizabethtown Post. I've worked LaRue County, Nelson County, Breckenridge County, all those down there. And then I've worked Grayson County. I've worked all the ones up here on stuff. So, I mean, I've worked with multiple prosecutors. I've worked with multiple defense attorneys. I've worked with multiple people in different demographics on cases, guns going off, people fighting over them, arguing over them, domestic or something happening, and you try to take the weapon away and accidentally goes off. Anything like that occurs. I need to know about those things because once we get to the point to where we know what happened, then
he's giving her a
you're
note.
Useless because there's nothing that you can benefit from talking to us and telling us what happened on there.
Well, now hang on. Do you think he's giving her out or giving her a space to do what I call circling the drain? That's your outer loop. Okay, yeah, it was an accident, and you just keep tightening it down until they come clean.
We're saying the same thing. He offered an excuse for her to say we had a fight and I killed him, and that's what I meant by giving her an out. Right? It's not so bad if there was a domestic.
It's a trap, though. I mean, if you're sitting in that seat, it's a trap.
Yeah,
Lowe said something that was interesting. The investigator couldn't close the deal at the end. Was so close after all that work and blew the confession, in his opinion. Does anybody else think that that previous investigator blew the confession?
No, absolutely not. I think he assumes the role of just kind of wearing her out, and this next guy can come in and clean up. I actually like the way this guy opened up. He basically said, "Hey, I've seen it all before," and I think to the subject, what that says is, my story and what I'm trying to do is not unique, and these people see right through me.
No, I agree. And Lowe, I think that you're seeing it incorrectly. I think you're seeing a play that's being called. It's you got the person that he effectively broke her shell and left her pretty raw when he walked out. Now you got your closure that's going to come in. The closure is going to give, like Jason's talking about, what they think is some daylight to try to rationalize. Okay, I'm not going to convince you that I'm the mourning widow, obviously. So now maybe I can convince you I'm the victim, or there was some rationale as to what happened to this bad event. So I think they're right on par with this. I don't think that anything's blown. Let's get back to it. We won't have enough time.
If you know that somebody that was your boyfriend or somebody that liked you, or if you were on a dating website, or if he was on a dating website and somebody found out where you lived at and they wanted you that bad that they went over there and hurt him and ended up causing his death, and you know about it and you covered up, you're just as guilty as the person who pulled the trigger.
Understands dating of that?
Well, it's murder one because it's a felony that occurred with a death. Because burglary first, with the weapons being removed from the house, there's automatically a firearm involved that we've got. So that's the thing that you need to realize, because you need to be looking right now at protecting your son, being a mother for your son. You can still do that right now if you explain to us what happened that day on going through. But if you lie about it, that's something that's just going to eat at you forever, and it's going to you forever
agreed.
when he
That was
finds out the truth
a great point he
of
just
what
made.
happened. Of taking his father. I've worked these cases. That's why I said I've sat in here with people. I'm kind of monotone just sitting here talking to you because I understand things in life happen.
What point did you just make? What did I miss?
No, all I said was what he did. It's called honor up, is what we would call it. And it's where he appealed to her sense of honor as a mother to try to get her to just go ahead and disclose what happened. Yes, this is a bad situation, but think about your son.
Okay, yeah, I think you're right.
I was just going to add, Lamar's right, but in a lot, we don't put titles to those things like the feds do. And
yeah, no, we don't have fancy words for it.
Same thing.
I think it's.
agree,
I would call it even more playing to the reality that you very well could like be separated from your child, mother's love. Hey, we're going to finish this one out. We're not going to get into our next video, which is
You may have had no concept of going over there
more
and
interesting.
planning on causing him any injury or hurting him. And then maybe he got mad at you and started arguing with you. And you had the gun in your purse and the gun went off. And it was an accident. And you got scared. And then you called his dad or called somebody else, your boyfriend or something, and made it staged to look like what it is. But I know in my heart, looking at that, and you know too, that that is not what happened. Somebody did not break into that house. You or somebody you know was the one that made entry into that house and shot him in the back of the head. And then to make it look like a robbery, the weapons were taken out of the safe and moved. And the good thing is we can get those weapons back. And you can still be a mother to your child. But after today, I can't promise that. Because if you're going to sit here and lie to me as a stone cold killer, I have no respect for you. But if you tell me there was a mistake that happened, you told somebody that something had happened, you made up a lie and said that Gary was beating you, and somebody went there for defense of you and killed Gary because they were trying to protect you, or that they wanted to be with you so bad, this is the time you need to tell me that. You need to tell me what they did, because you know what happened. And it is killing you to sit there and lie to me and not tell me the truth. It will feel so much better when you tell me the truth of what happened. And you know it. And there's no way of getting around it. The truth will set you free. The truth is what you have to tell me. What happened to Gary that day? You can try to deny it, but the nightmares will continue. Everything will continue. Your life will be in turmoil until you tell me the truth of what happened. Asha, tell me what happened that day. What did you do to Gary? Who did it? Who went there? Tell me, please.
No.
Yes, you know who went there.
No.
He didn't shoot himself.
I know he did.
If you won't do it for me, do it for your son.
That's what I did.
Why did you do it? You knew your story had too many holes in it, didn't you? It didn't make any sense, did it?
I tried.
You tried. Who helped you?
Nobody.
What did you do with the guns? Were they in the storage unit in Louisville?
I was going to take them there, but I didn't.
You know, did you see this right here? Look up. You don't think I know when I come here and talk to you that I know things?
I got the email to show you. That was not planned.
That was your, where are they? Where are the guns at? Are they in your car?
Okay.
Are they in a storage building? Did you give them to Patrick? Did you give them to your boyfriend to hold on to? Where are they at? Because I got to go get them. Did anybody help you move these guns? Who helped you move them? Anthony, did he come to the residence?
Took him.
What's that?
I took him to him.
You took him to him. And did you tell him just to hold on to him for you? Walk me through Sunday. What happened? Was he in the car? Where was he at?
His room was getting funny.
What did Gary do to him?
Gary got mad. Got at 6 o'clock. And when the house woke up, and he got up, mad.
Where's the pistol that you used to shoot Gary?
It's with the other gun.
Was it the little 38 that was the one that was in that lockbox?
It wasn't in the lockbox.
Where did you have it on you? Okay. And did he hit him? Where did he hit him?
I smacked him in the back of the face.
Smack him in the back of the head, like back here. You can look at this.
He went like this.
Where did he hit him? Where was he at? In the bedroom when he hit him?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I walked in on him because he was a big.
Okay. Actually, she cracked. She told him where the murder weapon was, how it went down, and what her BS story was behind it. I want to go back to Lowe. Talked about our colonel last week, the Canadian Air Force guy. I don't know that you would go at the Canadian Air Force guy the same way that you went with this. And the switching off in interrogators is a very common tactic in the United States. I think what we saw last week was they were planned, ready to go, a little different type of situation. So I don't think you can compare this nurse who shot her husband because she's having an affair with a janitor to the Canadian Air Force guy. But my two panelists here, what do you think about that?
I agree with you, Joe. I mean, obviously, I wasn't here last week, but I tried to catch some of it. But I agree with you. It's not a one size fits all in these situations.
Yeah, I agree. Every suspect is different. You can't it's 100% Joe. Completely different suspects, completely different situations, requires completely different tactics to get the confession.
And folks, when I say that these things are well planned out, they're at the time and place of the choosing of law enforcement. Even if I got to put you in jail, I'm not going to bring you into that box to sit you into the chair until I've got a strategy of how I'm going to go at it. Because the goal is the goal. At the end of the day, we're trying to get to the truth and get you to admit, what you did and tell us information we didn't know necessarily. But let's finish this out. And let's don't forget about the victim on this. I mean, he was a hardworking man. He's just a dude out living his life. And this chick decided she wanted $1.6 million, so she put a bullet in his head. Pretty wild. Well, good for her. Glad all that worked out for her. Got everything that she wanted when she made such a horrible plan. Guys, we're going right into this next one. We're going to be close on time. I really would like to try to do this at a solid new 2 hours. Hang on, I'm sorry. What does B say? I knew Anthony was telling the truth. You know what, B? I think I could scroll up what you think. I think you said exactly the opposite when that man was talking. And I agree with you also that she watched way too much General Hospital. She had all this plan in her mind that was going to work out well for her. And it was just really a tragedy all the way around. A man loses his life, a son loses his father, and I won't say her going to prison is a tragedy because maybe 55 years is not enough. Let's get to our next one. So Randy Stone's found killed in his office at his insurance agency. He was killed by a .40 caliber bullet fired from a gun from his own office. He kept in his office. It was a handwritten note to his wife Teresa, who also worked in this same office, folks. It was a man and wife team there. This note that you see was a birthday note, but it wasn't written from Randy. It was torn up into the bottom of her wastebasket, found near his body. You'll see the scene that's blurred out, but there is his insurance agency, Randy Stone. This is in Independence, Missouri. And there's a .40 caliber casing near the victim's feet. So let's go talk to the wife, who, by the way, discovered the body.
It's perfect in here.
It's okay. Like I said, this is Detective Schmidley. Hopefully this won't take long. This is Teresa. Her husband is Randy, who's at the office today. Teresa, we're here to get a formal statement again. I talked to you about a lot of stuff out there, but now we gotta get more detail what took place, because you know Randy better than we did, and you also know your lifestyle better than we do. So basically, Randy's your husband. How long have you been married?
Almost 19 and a half years.
19 and a half years. Did you ever have any kind of separation time at all?
No, never.
Okay.
We hardly ever fight.
Okay.
We hardly ever fight, and if we do, it's for like maybe 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And we're
just enough to blow a little steam off.
Yeah. We used to argue a lot when we were younger, when we first got married. Of course, it's hard when when you're separated for a whole year of your first marriage, and
yeah,
then your son is born the day after he gets back from the military, and
a lot of catching up to do.
But no, we were very much in love.
What about today? Let's go back not even today. I asked you before, has there been any issues around the office or at home with anybody trying to maybe get themselves into the family, or also anybody gets like maybe a policyholder that's problems or anything like that?
No, and if they do have problems with policies or whatever, they normally do not call us. They always call our district manager.
Okay.
So now Randy he will know from our district manager calling Randy, but Randy really doesn't tell me a lot of that stuff.
Okay.
Because he doesn't want me to worry.
So you're not aware of any issues, any
No.
customers that would have been through Farmers that was having any issues with you or anything like that?
No, he didn't really share a lot of that stuff with me.
You got there this morning.
I got there at 7:45.
7:45?
Yes.
Okay. No one outside, never encountered anyone going into the business?
No one came in except for Dave Eisen, and he came in a little after 8, and the door was still locked, because I keep the door locked until 9 o'clock.
Okay. And that's when Randy arrives?
No,
Or just when business opens?
Business opens at 9, so I
Right.
usually unlock the
Okay.
door. Especially when I know that he's coming in soon. I usually, sometimes I even forget to unlock it, and he'll be at the front door, and I'll be like, oh crap, I left the door locked. I just, when I'm there by myself, I always lock the door.
That's fine. It's fine.
And he wants me to, so I always keep it locked. And if I don't recognize them, I know my clients. If I don't recognize them,
It stays locked.
I don't let them in. Now, I cannot tell you what time my husband called me. It's all on the caller ID at the office.
Okay.
Everything's on the caller ID at the office.
What time was your husband expected to arrive?
Well,
Or what time was he going to get there?
Well, he normally gets up in the morning. He works out.
Okay.
And he normally gets in around 10 to 10:30.
Okay.
And that's about the time he arrived. this
So he
morning.
got there between 10. Did he call you?
Oh yeah,
in
he
between
always
that time?
calls me. Oh, I talked to him from our home phone.
Okay. So what time?
Couple times.
You talked to him a couple times this morning then while you were there at the business?
Before he came in?
Before
yes.
he came in, okay.
Yes, from the home and the cell.
So you went to the Bang on Square and you already texted Randy.
I texted Randy when I was, no, nothing came back.
Okay. And then where'd you go from the bank?
I went straight to the office.
Okay. You get to the office. Only car out there is just Randy's?
Yes.
And you park up next to his car?
Always. Always. But when I pulled up in the driveway, I noticed the blinds were closed. And that is not normal
Okay.
at all.
You go on in, you get ready to go in, and you notice you have to unlock the door. Now you said, are both locks locked or not?
No, the deadbolt was not locked.
Okay.
Just the bottom.
And how you knew that was when you tried it?
When I tried to unlock it, it was easy. I mean, I didn't even have to do anything
Right.
to unlock it.
And you said normally it's really tough to turn?
Very tough to turn. You almost break the key to unlock the deadbolt.
Okay. And let me just touch base again. What time do you think you arrived at the office? Just
I'm pretty sure I got to the office right about 10 till.
now you get to the office, and sorry, we're trying to get this out of the way. You get to the office and you said the deadbolt's not locked, but the other lock is locked.
Yes.
You go inside, open the door, go inside. What do you see?
All the lights are off. Gosh, I'm so sorry. I yell. I say, honey, where are you? And I walk into his office and I turn the light on, and you know, the computer's up, everything looks fine. I walk into the back room back there and turn the light on, and he's not back there.
Which room is that? The storage?
The storage room, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Then I walk around the corner.
To your office? What do you see? Is the light off? Was the door shut? Okay. You said the door was shut? No. No, the door was not shut. Did you turn the light on? Okay. What did you do? This is kind of important. What did you do once you saw him there?
I kept yelling for him to wake up.
Did you shake him?
I didn't touch you.
Okay. What did you? And I apologize. I don't mean to. We just want to be a little detailed at this because it's important. Did you see any? I mean, he was obviously on the ground.
I saw blood coming out of his ear.
Okay, blood coming out of his ear.
And
She's really forcing those tears.
his eye was really puffy. And his skin was really discolored. And I noticed he wasn't breathing, but I didn't want to touch him. I was
Okay, this is going to be the initial interview, and I'm not sure if they really have her pinned down as a suspect. I think she's a suspect by nature of the note and nature of her being the wife, and discovering the body. So, okay, of course, she's going to be a suspect. But what do you think about it? I'm seeing this as more as a let's lock you into a story as early as possible on this, and let's get it down as a statement.
Yeah, this is an initial statement, and from what I'm seeing, I do agree with the fake tear thing. I'm looking for a normal human response to you just lost your husband, and I'm not getting from her. I'm actually really shocked there's a roll of toilet paper on the table for Kleenexes, to be honest.
Defund the police is real, fool.
Yep, I agree. I took this as them taking her temperature. And one of the things is there was always a rule with respect to women crying. Anything ugly, anything other than an ugly cry is designed to manipulate. So she's trying to overplay her ladiness in this instance, in my opinion, and her emotion is completely feigned.
Well, and I think there's a lot of pieces missing on this that they don't know yet. I just think they're giving her the dirty eye. Let's get the story locked in and go with it. But this is the first part of it. I'm just going to play this last part through. We're not going to make a lot of comments through it. We'll make some comments at the end and go into the second one where the heat is turned up a bit.
That's fine.
Scared.
So what did you do to help out? What did you do from there?
I went over.
Oh, one last thing. What do you think about the tack these investigators are taking? Jason, do you see the?
I honestly don't like it. I don't like the two in there. I think it'd be better with one.
You know, I wasn't crazy about them either. I think they did a decent job, but I really think that this is probably a major crime for Independence, Missouri, and the lead investigators are out doing lead investigator things, and they just hey, lock her down, get her story, and gave some case file for them to read what they had. But I think these are cleanup investigators. You get that air at all, Jason?
Yeah, they don't have a lot of information now. I'm going to go back to this as an initial statement, and I think an initial statement should just be one-on-one. Let her talk. Let her create the story, and then let's revisit it when we have more facts.
Now, 100%. This would almost be good with just a microphone. Just you just tell me what happened that day, because I'm gonna lock you into that. Just make sure it's true, because I'm gonna ask you about it later.
Agreed.
I stepped over him, and
now one of those heaters was right there by him too. Is it already standing up, or did you knock it over getting to the phone?
no, it was already laid down when I got there.
All right.
When I walked in the room, it was laying down.
Okay.
At first, I thought he had his hand on it, but then when I saw the blood coming out of his ear, I was.
That's fine. So you stepped over him, and what did you do?
I stepped over him and I grabbed my earpiece and put it on my ear. And I know you're supposed to dial 111, but I called my parents first and just told them to come to the office, and then I hung up and dialed 911.
Where'd you call them, at your house or their house?
No, I called them from my phone.
No, but did you call them?
Oh, I called them at. Oh.
Notice how that emotion just dried up that quick?
You see what I'm saying? They were at your house when you left.
I know. I don't know if I called her cell phone or if I called the home phone.
That's fine.
I don't remember.
So
But you called from, you put your earpiece on, and you
I
called
called
from
from
the
my
office,
phone in
from
my office,
your
yes.
office phone.
I think I called the house, but I don't remember.
That's fine.
Who did you get a hold of when you called the
My
house?
mom.
Okay. And what'd you tell your mom?
I just told her. I told her, I said, Mom, Randy, something's wrong with Randy. I said, he's bleeding and he's not responding, he's not breathing. I need you guys to come to the office now. And I was saying it so fast, I had to repeat it several times.
Okay.
And then I hung up and dialed 911.
From the office phone?
Yes.
And did you stay in the office where he's at doing this, or did you go outside?
No, when I got on the phone with the operator, she told me to get out of the office.
Okay. The dispatchers?
Yes. So I
Step
grabbed
back.
my purse.
Did you step back
and-
over him?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
I stepped over him and walked out.
Questions I have. One is, why did you decide to step over your husband to get to the phone when you had a cell phone?
I don't know.
Just-
I don't think I was thinking
That's
right.
fine. That's fine. I mean, it's just something we've asked.
No, that's fine. I have no idea why I did. I really don't know.
We talked before about this, but you said we asked you about weapons.
Uh-huh.
Okay. What guns do you know that he had at your office or anywhere?
The only one that I know of that he has
Yeah.
was a little bitty thing.
Black gun?
Yes.
That's what you said earlier.
Little bitty thing. It's little.
And where do you keep that?
And I don't even like touching it.
Where do you keep that?
He kept it in his office.
Okay.
Do you know where at in this office that he particularly kept it?
I knew you were going to ask me that.
And like I said, if you don't know, that's fine.
I am pretty positive he kept it in the drawer at the back of his credenza.
Okay.
There's a small drawer back there, and that's usually where he kept his keys and His gun, yes, because it was easy to
Get
to if you needed.
and he kept it just because people kind of every so often strange people walk up there.
Yes.
Okay.
He did. Someone took my husband's life away from me.
Yeah. That's what we're trying to work on here. That's why we're talking to you first. Here you go. You think of anything else? In the trash can? Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Back to the letters, the yellow tablet. In your trash can they had a letter that somebody had written for about happy birthday and all that. It's about this big. It was all tore up. And it says something about, something like you're the most beautiful person or some kind of thing like that. It's all these big ramblings of good stuff about, it's about that long, but that big. It's a white letter and it's black writing and it's all tore up now. There's the bottom of your trash can in your office.
Oh.
It said happy birthday at the top of it, and then at the bottom it's happy. Then it had all these initials on the bottom, like there were initials meaning something. Well, think about it. I'm gonna go see if lab. They took a picture. I'll see if I can show it to her and see. Let me get a refresher. Fine.
Hang on just a second, we'll be right back.
Okay.
I heard that.
It's always the little things, isn't it?
You okay? Need anything? We're about done here.
Do you see where she said that? Oh, I forgot about that. She forgets about this love letter that's in her trash can next to her dead husband's body.
Yep.
Boy, it's funny how to start throwing them off their game a little bit. Let's see how she handles this.
On that letter, they didn't take a picture of it, but they collected it, so we
Okay.
can't see it because it's on property. But it's a note about that big.
Yeah, I remember. And I've had it for a very long time because I kind of had a.
See the crossed
secret
arms?
admirer.
She's now defensive now that they
It
put her
was
on her back feet.
on my car door. I had-
Today?
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Where was your car at the office?
It's not even the car that I have now.
Oh, okay.
I believe it was. That's been several years ago. And I just found it the other day. I was looking for my what do you call it? Dental card.
Yeah.
And I found it in there. And
Where was that? In your drawer? Or?
no, it was in my purse. I have a little thingy that I keep all my credit cards in.
Yeah.
And it was in there.
Who's his secret admirer?
I don't know who he is.
Wow.
I've never gotten another note from him ever.
No calls?
No calls, no nothing.
And the secret admirer, you said that he left a letter on your car a year or so ago?
Oh, it's probably been 3 or 4 years ago.
And you've had this note in your purse.
I totally forgot about it, to be honest with you.
And when did you tear it up and throw it in the trash can?
Yeah, I just found it yesterday.
Okay.
When I was looking for because I scheduled my daughter for her wisdom teeth to be pulled out.
Mhm.
So as I was going through, I found it and I just ripped it up and threw it away. I didn't really want my husband to find it. So.
Did he know about what did the note say?
You know what? I have no idea. When you said it said happy birthday on it, I was like, huh?
It had birthday on the front and the bottom said happy birthday and it had a bunch of different initials, like text message initials.
I honestly cannot remember. To tell you the truth, I do not remember what it
Would there be any problem if we look at your phone, look at some of the text messages on it, just confirm times?
Well, I can look at the call log
if we
for
can
Randy.
get the call logs and stuff like that.
Help yourself.
Okay.
Ooh, AT&T too. Great. These are always fun.
Oh, gonna.
Unlock it.
Oh, no, it's easier if you just raise it up like that. Sorry.
Now, your text messaging, like you said, you would, well, I gotta let your call log too, it'd be nice to know.
That's fine.
Okay.
This is a
now
bad
on
move.
Randy's phone, I don't ever look at his texts, so I don't know.
Right, we gotta do all that too.
I don't look at that. He don't look at mine, I don't look at his. We just don't, you know.
We send him a message that says, "Are you busy?" at 6 minutes till 3, so 14:54 hours today. That's the one where you ask him if he's busy, and he never responded back.
No, I don't believe he did on that one, no.
Okay, that's what we're saying.
No, because he called me and said, yes, I'm busy, or yes, I've been busy. He told me that.
And again, and I want you to just be real honest. I think you've been there. On The Secret Admirer, do you know who this person is?
I don't, I'm sorry.
What was a bad move there you caught, Jason?
This is if this is an initial free to leave interview and asking consent to search a phone when her husband is dead, the inspection of that phone should be done with a search warrant. My concern here with the investigation going forward is she's in a room with 2 law enforcement officers. Maybe she was told she was free to leave, but as a reasonable person, she feels that she's free to leave. That search of that phone in this environment might get tossed.
So you think
I would have gone search warrant.
Legalities, you'd be safer with a warrant. You're absolutely right, though. A warrant is much better than consent in almost in any situation.
Yeah, my fear is the fruit of the poisonous tree here. If they find something incriminating that carries the investigation on, it's going to fall back on was the search of the phone justified? And I think they're going to a consent search in these days. We just don't do them anymore. That especially with a homicide, that phone should have been taken as evidence, and the search warrant should have been done.
But she's not a suspect. She's the victim and the witness.
It doesn't matter.
I think I would be okay with consent. If I got into the phone and I saw anything, I would shut it down at that point and get a warrant and use my consent as the probable cause. In the probable cause affidavit is how I got there and how I know the search is warranted.
I'll disagree with that one wholeheartedly. That find evidence to get probable cause for a search warrant for that phone.
No, I don't disagree with you. It's always better for a search warrant, and this time they have the time. They could seize the phone and get a search warrant for it. You're absolutely right. Let's see how this first initial interview goes.
I have no idea. I haven't.
And I'm going what Detective Stewart had said. He had said something about happy birthday on it.
Yeah.
I mean, so did this person know
Evidently they
you and know when your birthday was?
Evidently they know me. I don't know who they are. I couldn't tell you left from right who the heck he is. I assume he is a guy.
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't mean for that to be funny. But I don't, seriously, I have no idea who he is. And it's been several years. Like I said,
He is
I
a
just
horrible
found it.
liar.
I wasn't looking for it. I just ran across it and couldn't believe I still had it.
Okay.
So I thought, I better get rid of it because I surely didn't want my husband to find it. And if he did, I mean, I would just explain to him that it was just left in my car window, just like I'm telling you guys, I'm being honest with you, and I have no idea who he is. I don't know. It's been several years ago, so I honestly don't know. I have never gotten any more letters, nothing. I've never gotten phone calls, no mysterious phone calls, no nothing.
Okay.
So,
And
I don't know.
No affairs on the side or anything like
No.
that?
No.
He hasn't had an affair with someone? And just be honest with me.
Several years ago, he did.
Okay.
But that was right after we got married.
Okay.
That was a long time ago.
Okay. But nothing recently?
No.
You guys haven't been separated or anything?
No.
Or issues with
I
them?
mean, and I hate to say this, but I feel like you need
And be
to
honest
know.
with me,
You need
because,
to know.
I mean, anything
I know.
can help us.
He had trouble with pornography, so.
He had trouble with pornography?
Yeah. But, we got through all that.
Okay, when you say he had trouble with pornography, was he watching it on TV or
No,
viewing it on a computer?
He would pull it up on the computer.
Okay.
But it's been several months, probably a year or so.
Okay, so, but within the past year, when we say he was having trouble with pornography, what do you mean by that?
Well, he would just go on websites and just
Okay.
look at them.
Okay.
And I approached him about it. So
Okay.
we got that out of the way.
And when you say you got it out of the way, what do you mean by that?
Well, that's why his computer's the way it is now. He switched his computer so I could see everything. Because it used to be like this, so I couldn't see anything.
Mhm.
So he turned it like this. So whenever I did walk into his office or walk past his office, I could see everything he was working on. Because he wanted to be honest with me.
He didn't go to any counseling for
No,
pornography.
it wasn't that deep.
And it didn't cause any friction that
No.
you guys were wanting to get separated
No,
or
no.
and never had to leave the residence or anything? No one left the residence or anything?
No, never. Absolutely not. Ever. Never, 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 never. It never got that bad.
All right, before we get to the confrontation, so some days pass. Law enforcement does what law enforcement does, and they start putting some of the pieces together. So now they're going to bring her back in, and this is going to be more confrontational, probably more like an interrogation. Putting some of the pieces together. So now they're going to bring her back in, and this is going to be more confrontational, probably more like an interrogation.
Telling you, brother Love pulled the trigger. I'm telling you, this is the motive. This is the reason that your husband is dead. It's up to you to tell us exactly what happened, exactly what was going on. All right. Now, I've got about 20 detectives out here. And I'm going to be honest with you. I got about 20 detectives out here that want to take this to a grand jury today, tomorrow. They think there's enough evidence against you to have you charged because they think you're involved in this. And either not that you killed him, but that you have something to do with this. And do you know why? Because of this? Because your statement that you gave the other night to Detective Stewart is full of inconsistencies and untruths.
What?
I'm telling you, they have torn that statement apart. We have a page and a half of things that's not jiving. All right.
Like what? I have told you everything that happened on that day.
Well, I'm telling you that
I have receipts to show you. My daughter was with me.
We're not saying you. That's what I'm telling you.
Oh
that there's trouble here, Teresa. There's trouble here. All right? You have got to tell us what happened that day. And if you don't tell us, then I'm telling you, I've been doing this for 24 years. And I'm telling you, I can see the direction that this is going. And if you're not truthful with me and tell me everything that's going on and what you know, you're going to be a soul out on a plank. All right, all by yourself. My investigators believe that you are involved in this, either in the cover-up. They don't.
There is no way.
I'm telling you.
I would not.
Okay, well, we come out to get on this one, don't you think, Jason? Right off the get, he turned it up and put her on the defensive.
Absolutely, he's not pulling any punches here. It's let's just cut the shit, and here's what we know.
What do you think about that tactic?
I like it after the initial, and that is why the initial statements you get from people, regardless of the crime, if it's homicide, dope, whatever the crime is, lock them in a story, and we have all the time in the world to disprove or prove that story. And there's statute of limitations for a reason. And this is what they did in this case. They got her story. They did the investigation. Now he's pulling her in and say, this is going to be a little more confrontational. And he's calling her bluff.
No, absolutely. I think he's doing a good job. He's not messing around with it. He pushed her back on her heels. I think the original investigators did a pretty good job. I think they got a thorough story that they were able to go back and do investigation. I think it was still early on. They're still trying to figure out what you have. You know, a dead guy in his office could be a robbery. I mean, weirder things have happened. Also, weirder things have happened than the wife having an affair with the preacher. His name is Love. David Love. They call him Brother Love. You're going to hear that several times through here. It's just the weirdest thing. And someone said in the comments, you can't make these things up, but that's his real name.
I would never do anything to hurt my husband. I love him so much. That's why I was trying to get rid of this. That's why I was trying to get Brother Love out of my office. We were trying to start over. I didn't want him in my life anymore. I wanted to just be with my husband for the rest of my life. Please, tell me.
I'm telling you something.
Tell me what is not driving. I want to know what's not. I need to know.
For example, you say you went to the bank and made a deposit, right?
Yes.
We've been to the bank 3 times. They say that there is no activity on your account that afternoon.
There was
All right.
2. I have the receipt to prove it.
Well, I'm just telling you what the bank's telling us, okay? If you got a receipt, we'll look at it, all right? I'm telling you, the bank's telling us 3 times now. We've checked 3 times.
You checked with U.S. Bank.
U.S. Bank.
On my line of credit.
Yes.
The line of credit is not in my name. It is in Randy's name.
They checked both your names, okay? We didn't go up there half-assed and just say, okay. They pulled up they were very helpful. They pulled up everything. We did it 3 times.
I cannot believe this. I seriously cannot believe this.
It's true, Teresa.
No. I have the receipt from my chiropractor's office. I have the receipt from JCPenney's. I have everything. I was with my daughter. I picked her up from school. I went home. My parents were there. Are you kidding me?
Did I tell you we know exactly what time your husband died? Because we have not 1 but 2 videos. We have seen the car, and we have seen the man get out of the car.
Who is it?
I'm not going to tell you who it is.
Why not?
I am telling you because I'm trying to get some truthfulness out of you. Because I'm telling you that if you don't sit here and tell me the truth about everything you know, I'm telling you, you're going to end up in a whole lot of trouble. More trouble than you could ever imagine. This was a planned killing.
No.
It was a planned, premeditated killing. And more than 1 person was involved.
Why?
Why?
Yes, why? Why would they do this?
You know, Teresa, you know why.
Because of me? Because I wouldn't give up what I have for this? No.
Your life has been spinning out of control for a while now, Teresa. It's been spinning out of control. And everything that you have learned since you were 7 years old in your church.
Okay, I'm going to pause it again. I'll go back to the first video when I said the damsel in distress. This lady is trying the same very tactic, but I want everyone to pay attention to the evolution once she realizes that people have seen through her crocodile tears, so to speak, how the demeanor completely changes and the whole tempo of the interview will change.
For whatever reason, you've taken a wrong turn, all right? I'm going to tell you what I think, and this is coming from my heart. I think that you have been manipulated, you have been used. I think somebody has taken you away from your values and everything that you believe in this world to be good, and has sent you down the wrong road, and has talked you and got you into something that you would never have dreamed of ever being involved in. And I believe that. And I believe that. And it's a horrible situation. But the person that has done this to you, needs to accept responsibility for their actions. In the same way that you're accepting responsibility for your actions. You're accepting responsibility because you're paying the price right now, having to sit here and talk to me and go through this. You are the one that's paying right now, and the other person that's involved in this, they think they got away with murder scot-free. They think they don't have a thing to worry about. But here you are. Here you are. And I do not want to see you have to bear the burden of this alone. I don't want to see you have to bear this. You have got to open up to me, and if you want any consideration, or if you want anybody to help you, then you're gonna have to come and tell me the truth, and you're gonna have to do it now. You're gonna have to tell me the whole truth. You got to tell me the truth. Tell me again, and this time be truthful. Tell me what was the nature of your relationship with David, truly. If you can't even do that much, I can't help you, Teresa. If you can't even be honest about that, I cannot help you.
Well, obviously he was in love.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I was at one point.
How long ago?
Just recently. Probably a couple weeks ago. No, well, probably about a month ago.
Mm-hmm. About a month ago you felt like you were in love?
No. A month ago, I wanted it to end.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to start my life.
Do we notice a different demeanor from our suspect at this point?
Yeah, it's the same pattern, and this is why, like, there was always an understanding with respect to women when we were talking to them. Once you lay down the fact that you know exactly what's going, first it's the lie, then deny, cry, and then once they are willing to be honest, all the emotion goes away, and they're as cold as ice.
Now, exactly, and you saw it just in a blink of an eye here. She's like, takes a breath. Okay, well, I was trying to get rid of him. I mean, all the boohoo and tears. I would never do this, and I'm a victim. All that went out the window. They don't even try anymore. Jason, anything to say about that?
I think the detective did a great job here of offering her a lifeline. I can help you, and toning it down like this is not how you were raised, and trying to appease her. I think emotions a little bit, like I'm here to help you, and he switched his tone. And a lot of these interrogations we watch, when the detective feels like they're about ready to break, they will tone back and say, I'm your guiding light here, let me help you. And he did a good job of convincing her to all right, let's move forward on the next level. But I think the detective did a really good job with his narrative on this whole process.
I think he did a very good job. Excuse me, I'm actually choking to death. I think he did a very good job of knowing, apply the pressure right off the get, to get through it all, to get her to this. If I'm doing the interrogation, when I can take a female suspect in this type of situation and get them to turn into that coldness, then I feel like I'm getting somewhere, because now the facade is down, and we're going to get down to business. Either they're going to talk or they're not, but we're going to get down to business and no more BS.
Fresh with Randy.
Okay.
Let's see if she does.
Back up.
Okay.
I need to know.
9 years ago.
Well, I need to know what kind of things have been going on between you and him before you decided that you wanted to put it in.
Did y'all catch that? 9 years ago, she's been having an affair with her pastor, who is has done counseling with her husband for his porn addiction. She's been having a bumping uglies with her pastor brother love for the last 9 years. But yet we've listened to this thing up to this point of the grieving wife, and how would you dare? Oh my goodness, I couldn't ever do these things. All that's out the window now. She's like, yeah, I've been diddling this dude for the last 9 years and pretending that I loved my husband. I just find that interesting.
Into this thing. Because I know it wasn't just phone calls. Couldn't have been.
I just don't want this to get out to anybody.
I'm telling you, we're not going to wave red flags.
Yes, Rude, a triangle table would have expedited this, saved man hours. It should be implemented in every interrogation room across the country.
Tell the world, okay? Teresa, I already know what you're gonna say, but I have to hear it from you. I have to hear it from you.
Yes, we had.
Okay.
And you know that.
I know that. I know that. And you know what? I'm not gonna judge you for that. Okay? Do you think that you're the only one that's gotten in that kind of position before?
I just never thought it would ever happen to me.
Well, and you know what I think? I think probably it was David's doing. He's a pastor of your church.
I know.
He is the leader. He is supposed to be taking care of his people.
I know.
And he didn't take care of you. He violated everything that he stood for in that church when he started pursuing you. You know? And I'm sure, and I've talked to him, and I've talked to a bunch of other people, and they say that man can really be convincing. I mean, he is slick.
I
And
know,
he
my
used
husband
those-
has said the same thing.
well, he used his skills to be able, once again, to turn you away from your values and what means the most to you. And he did that. Okay? How long has this been going on?
10 years.
Okay. So this affair's been going on for off and on, or pretty steady?
No, it's been off and on.
Off and on?
Every time I try to stop it, he always makes me feel, I don't know.
What are your feelings? What are your feelings for him? Obviously, you had some feelings for him, or this wouldn't go on.
I
like
did.
that, right?
I did.
So you were in love with him. This must have been hard on him. The fact that you were leaving the church. This, as you're describing it to me, this is pretty involved with David.
Yeah, it was.
Okay.
More than I wanted it to be.
David wrote in his letter here, let's see, there's a line in here. I'm not in control of things yet, but when we are fully together, our birthdays will be exciting, blah, blah. What's that mean? I'm not in control yet, but when we are fully together,
I don't know.
what do you think it means when you read that? I'm
Maybe
not
he
in
had
control
something in his-
yet.
Maybe he had something in mind.
Did he ever talk to you about anything he had in mind?
No. I always told him, if God wants us to be together, then he will put us together. I always told him that. And I always told him, I said, I love Randy. And I hate doing this. I hated it.
Did Randy ever suspect?
Now hold on. How can she hate it and do it for 10 years? Anybody have an answer for that one? How
That would
can
be-
she be the victim in this?
That would be my question to her. I think he needs to turn the heat on here, or go a little bit further in this, and then I would ask that as that question.
I'm gonna tell you, I've edited this and I've seen it. This only gets better. There are going to be some more actors that come on the stage, and this only gets better. So I'm going to let it go a little bit long before we make any more comments, unless somebody wants to jump in right now and make some. But I do want to get to the end of this one.
I'll wait to the end. Go ahead.
Maybe after maybe after the second year, maybe.
Okay.
But he really never came out and said it or anything.
Since we're being truthful,
Mhm.
all right, and there's no secrets about this, okay, it's already out.
Mhm.
Was there ever a time when you became pregnant with David's child? Because I think you did.
Well, there was that one time.
Her response was,
A long
"Yep."
time ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was about 6 years ago, actually.
What happened to the baby?
Oh, well, I'm not surprised she got pregnant. She's been with him longer. She's been having an affair more than 50% of her marriage with this guy. They've only been, her and the dead man has only been married. They've only been married 19 years. Hell, some of her kids could be that pastor's.
I miscarried.
Okay. Did anybody know about that except you and David?
About me being pregnant?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no, Randy knew about it.
Okay.
He knew about it.
Okay. You gotta clear this up, because as far as I know, I don't know if it's true or not, okay?
Mhm.
Had Randy had a vasectomy at some point?
Mhm.
Was this before you got pregnant?
Mhm.
Okay. How did that go over? Or how was that explained?
Because we went to the doctors, and the doctors told us that it happens a lot.
Okay.
So,
So you just figured it was a malfunction, for
Yeah.
your lack of a better
and
word,
we had
right?
we had a couple of clients who had happened to them.
Okay.
So,
How did they?
All right, so just think about it in general. She convinced this guy that his vasectomy failed. That's how she got pregnant, because, my God, she was not having an affair with anyone. But I find that to be kind of cruel in of itself. What do you guys think about that? Not as investigators, just as men. How do you feel about that?
No, I think it's crazy. But again, as I'm listening to this, I'm not at all surprised. And this is why I said at the beginning we would typically have women try to approach other women, because women won't try to sell this bullshit to other women because women see right through it.
Man, I think men see through this too, man. I don't think it's very convincing. What do you think, Jason?
She's full of shit. Keep it going. I'm curious to see how this ends.
Yeah, I don't know. They kind of got me. It's like, hang on, you get the guy killed in his office. I mean, you do a bunch of horrible things. You have an affair on him for 10 years, and on top of that, you convince him that you got pregnant off his vasectomy. I guess if she hadn't had a miscarriage, he could have raised this other man's child. That's just no level of responsibility on this lady. None.
David take it? I guess he knew. What did he, or did he know?
oh yeah, he knew.
How did he take that news?
Well, he was kind of shocked. He didn't see how it happened, but I don't see how it happened either. But
Okay.
and in that situation, all I can say is that God spared me that day.
My sweet Lord, unbelievable.
You called your parents, right, after you found it, Randy?
Yes.
And what did you tell them?
I just told him that something had happened to Randy, and I needed them to come to the office right away.
Are you sure that's what you told them?
I hope the investigator starts getting pissed off right about now. I really do. I could not handle this at this point.
See, what you told them, because I got it from your mom and I got it from Miranda, what you told them is that Randy had been shot.
Yeah, that's what I told him.
All right. That doesn't square with what you've told us up to this point, and it doesn't square with what you told the 911 operator. That's a problem. That is a problem. You told your parents specifically that Randy had been shot. You knew that he'd been shot because you told your parents that he'd been shot. You told the 911 operator you think he might have fallen. You never told him that he'd been shot. You kept that to yourself. When you talked to the ambulance dispatcher, the person who needs to know what's going on there medically, you never told him that he'd been shot. You've been talked to 3 times now, and you never said that. You knew that he'd been shot, but you didn't tell anybody. Somebody told you that he was shot. Somebody told you that he was shot because you knew he'd been shot. And you didn't want us to know that. That goes right in with these phones and these phones destroyed after the body's found. You know more than you're telling me. That is how they're going to hang you, Teresa. Those kinds of statements. And I told you that I got reports up to here that's full of that kind of stuff. Who told you that he'd been shot? How did you know he'd been shot? And why didn't you tell us? You're not being truthful with me, Teresa.
I didn't
You're
know.
not being truthful.
Okay, I didn't. He sent me a text and told me.
Who did? Say it. Brother Love.
He sent me a text and told me not to go to the office.
Why?
I don't know why.
When did he send you that text?
When I was on my way to the office.
From your house? Or when? Before you got to the bank or after?
No, when I was on my way back to the office, after I dropped Miranda off at the house. He sent me a text and told me, he said, seriously urgent, do not go back to the office by yourself. That's what he told me.
She's committed to the emotional game even though it's not working. That's wild.
When you read that, what did you think that meant?
Well, now it's to garner sympathies that I'm a victim. I was just so stupid that I fell into this. We're going to fast forward some of this. We're going to finish up another 2 or 3 minutes of this investigator, but I want to get to the final investigator on this one. I will say I'm going to give the foreshadowing on this is that they get enough out of this to actually hold her and arrest her. So she won't go home after this interview between this one and the next one, which will be the following day. She's giving enough information to show that she was at least complicit in the crime as far as obstruction. She wasn't truthful in some statements that she gave or withheld things that she probably shouldn't have. So they've got a charge to hold her on, which I think is a success out of this investigator. But about another 2 or 3 minutes, then I'm gonna fast forward to the next round.
I don't know.
You didn't call him?
No, I didn't want to talk to him.
But you get a text
I
like
was mad
that.
at him.
I understand. I understand you're mad at him. But you know, if I'm driving here to the police station to work and I get a text message from my wife who says, do not go there. Urgent. Don't go there.
What I thought
I am
was,
going to call her and say, what in the heck is this about?
I just thought maybe he was there with Randy arguing with him and he didn't want me to walk in on him. That's the first thing I thought of.
Okay.
I wasn't expecting.
So you thought there might be a little confrontation
Yes.
going on?
Yes. When I got there,
Teresa,
no.
why would you not tell us that? Why would you not tell us something that important? You're protecting.
Because I'm scared.
You're protecting this man. Or you're protecting yourself also. You're scared. But you're also trying to protect. And you're protecting him and you may be protecting yourself. If
What do you want me? What do you want from me?
Teresa,
I'm trying
Teresa,
to tell you
I
everything.
Teresa, I want you to be the first person to come forward so that we have the opportunity to try to help you. I don't want to help David. I swear, listen to me, listen. If David comes in here and he confesses to something that he's done, he'll be the first one. And you know what's going to happen? He's the one that's going to be given consideration. And everybody else that's involved in this is going to go right down the toilet, and we're not going to be able to help them. I want to be able to help you. Out of all these people, I know Brother Love's not the only one involved in this. He is not the only one involved. He's obviously up to it in his eyeballs, but there's somebody else involved too.
Who?
Remember when I told you that we have video?
Yes.
All right, listen to me. I know more than I can tell you, but I'm telling you, brother, it's not just Brother Love. I'm telling you. That means if you don't talk to me, if you don't tell me what you've done, we are gonna have to give these jerks more consideration than we'll give you.
Who? He's the only one that told me. He just texted me and told me not to go to the office, not by myself.
Did you believe that Brother Love had something to do with this, even before you came in here tonight?
Do I believe?
No, before you came in here tonight.
Oh. Back in my mind,
She can't figure out how to answer this.
Your husband's been killed. And right before you got there, you got this all caps message, don't go there. How could you not confront him or talk to him? You've had to talk to him about this. I know you've been
about
to the
what?
About, what was that message about?
Oh, no.
I mean, you got that right before you found your husband.
I haven't talked to him.
You haven't talked to him at the church?
No.
Over Easter weekend or anything?
No, I was gone. And then he left. He called me last night. And I was very...
What did he say last night?
That he was praying for me.
He's praying for you.
Mm-hmm. I was very short with him and I was not really nice to him on the phone.
I don't even like that guy.
Did you ask him about the text message?
No, because my family was around.
Okay.
And one of our church members was at my house.
Okay. In the last 20 days, you never got on the phone
No, I
to
haven't.
Brother Love and said, did you kill my husband? Why did you send me that text message? You never discussed or tried to get a hold of him.
No, because every time he was at my house, there were so many people around.
I understand that. But there were times when you could get to a phone and talk in private.
I didn't want to talk to him.
You didn't want to find out who killed your husband?
I was afraid of what he would say. I don't know if he
Well,
would...
I would like to hear what he... If somebody killed my
Do
wife
you-
and I suspect it, and they tell me, you know what I'm gonna do?
You think he's going to tell me?
That's great. That's great, because now I'm going to the police.
You think he's going to tell me?
Well, he has to explain the message.
Hey, Joe.
He has to explain.
Yes, sir.
Real quick, at this point, she keeps playing this manipulation game. If I'm this detective right now, I'm saying, you know what? You're full of shit. I'm stepping outside. Let her stew for a little bit, for about 15 minutes, and tell her when I come back in, if you don't tell me the truth, this conversation's over. And turn up the heat on her a little bit, because he is letting her to continue to manipulate this conversation.
I think every time she comes back around the bend, though, she drops another level. I think he's getting somewhere with her. But folks, we are way over time. We're going to end this little session. I'm going to the next session. I will tell you that she gives up a little bit more. She's asked directly if she gave, how did Brother Love get this gun? And she's like, oh, well, I don't know. She denies that throughout this entire interview. But what they're going to do is they're going to jail her. You'll notice she'll be in the same clothes. the next morning. But they're going to jail her overnight. They're pulling her out bright and early and continuing interview. But this time, they bring the A team for sure. You'll see what I'm talking about. They've got their ducks in a row and they're ready to go. I'm sorry. There's a phone call in here that's made to Brother Love, but he says nothing, and his wife is listening on the other line. So it didn't. No fruit was bore from that phone call. I think this takes us on the next one. No, maybe not.
Are they polygraphing her?
No, they're gonna wish they polygraphed her, or she was gonna wish she got polygraphed. Listen to this guy.
I know it can't be too comfortable.
Oh, he's gonna question her with cuffs on?
He's taking handcuffs off. We're friends in the box. I'm here to help you.
A little better? Okay. Is your voice okay? I noticed you were whispering a little bit.
It's just dry.
Just dry a little bit. A little water will help. A lot. You've been through a lot, haven't you? Words can't describe what you're dealing with. Okay. You need to understand something. I'm going to ask you some questions. We want to talk about some of the things that happened, okay? You good with that? Right. Do you remember your rights? You read your rights, you signed your waiver. You still willing to talk to me? Okay. So water good? All right. You sure you're not hungry?
No.
So I can get you a bagel.
No, fine.
Okay. All right. Teresa, a lot of things have happened over the past few weeks, past few months, that, I'm very sure that you probably had no idea what was going on. Right? Right. A lot of things happen. That's okay, that's okay. You know what? You're dealing with a lot. If you need to cry, you cry. You don't hold it in. You just let it out. I expect you to cry. Okay? Okay. What are you feeling right now?
Scared.
Scared? What are you afraid of?
I miss my daughter.
I know you do. And you know what? Your daughter misses you. Your daughter misses you, Teresa. She's probably wondering what's going on with her mom. Where's my mom? I can't talk to her. I miss her. While you're in this temporary relationship with this guy, you guys are falling in love now. You're looking for ways to get rid of this guy.
I was not.
No, David Love.
Oh, yes.
Because what?
Because I didn't want to do it anymore.
You were done with him, right? You wanted him out of your life.
Because I loved my husband and I wanted to be with my husband only.
Okay. Did you tell your husband that?
What? That I want to be with him only?
Yeah.
Yes.
Did he know that?
Yes.
Okay. What did he say about that?
Who, him?
Yeah.
He kept telling me that my husband was a fool.
All right, real quick, give me your impression on this interrogator. Jason first.
Oh, sorry about that.
I like the direction. Like it.
Yeah, go ahead, Lamar.
Yeah, I was going to say I think he's really good. He did something very nuanced at the beginning. He picked up on her whisper and offered her water. And then once he was able to engage her and he said, "You know what? I expect you to cry. Notice now, there's no more whisper. There's no more dry voice." So in my experience, what he did, he was trying to determine her willingness to still try to manipulate the session. And he called it out pretty good. I thought that was impressive. It's really, really nuanced.
This guy, you're going to see as it goes on, it's very impressive. You notice now he's got the pictures out of her husband and her lover. and he's playing the shuffleboard with it. Make sure that he's tapping them, he's moving them so that he keeps her eyes on there as he's talking. This guy's got some skill. But I just wanted to get some initial impressions off this guy. But let's keep it running.
And that he called him Nabal, which is a name of a guy in the Bible who did a lot of foolish things. You know, I know my husband wasn't perfect, and I know he did a lot of foolish things, but he was a very good man, and he put him down all the time, and I just kept saying, just leave him alone.
Yeah.
And
But
I
he
kept,
wouldn't?
I'm sorry.
He wouldn't?
No. Every time he talked to him, he just kept throwing things back in his face. His past, he just kept throwing everything back in his face.
Well, Teresa, you said you love your husband, you want to get rid of this guy, get him out of your life. He wasn't having any part of it. He wouldn't let you go, would he? That's what I'm saying. You're not a bad person. You know, you got caught up in a bad situation with a bad guy and something bad happened. Your husband got killed. I even venture to say this guy was probably planning on killing his wife after he killed your husband. What do you think about this guy? Like I told you earlier, he's not doing you any favors. And I want you to answer one question for me right now. Right now, don't hesitate. I want you to answer one question for me. Did you know he was going to shoot your husband?
No.
Did you know he was going to kill Randy?
No.
Did you know he had an intention of going there, the business that night, and shooting your husband dead?
No.
That solves his problem. He's on the way, and now he's got you, and you're all he wants. Did you know he was going to do that?
No,
Did he tell you he was going to do that?
No, he did not.
Did he tell you he was going to shoot Randy that night?
No, he did not.
What did he tell you?
I never talked to him that day.
Did you talk to him at all the day before?
No.
You didn't talk to him the day before? You didn't talk to David Love the day before Randy got shot? Are you telling me no, you did not? Keep in mind, we have all your phone records.
I know, I understand.
Teresa.
I'm trying to think.
Teresa, you knew this guy was going to kill Randy.
No, I did not.
You did.
I did not.
You went to the business that night. He texted you, didn't he? Didn't he call you and tell you not to go there?
Yes, he did. He said, don't go to the business alone.
What does that tell you?
And I ignored it because I didn't want to talk to him. I was mad at him because he has ruined my life. I texted him and told him that he ruined my life and to leave me alone. And he called me that day and left a message. I got the message. And he told me to call him, and I never called him. So he texted me and said, all I want is for you to be taken care of. All I want is for us to be together.
This is David?
Yes.
Okay, how did you reply?
I did not reply. And I'm being honest with you. I am trying to help you. I seriously am. Because I had nothing to do with this. I did not know he was going to kill my husband.
I tried to talk him out of whatever he was as in his stupid mind.
So you knew he had something planned. You just told me he had something planned. And I think you knew that something was killing Randy. So you're trying to talk him out of it. Talking him out of it, did it do any good? What did you tell him?
Obviously not.
What did you tell him? Did you tell him to think about it? Don't do it?
Yes. I said, don't do it. I said, you know it's not right.
Sure.
I said, this is not what God wants. That's what I kept telling him. This is not what God wants. And I tried to tell him all the time. When I wanted to break it off, I said, this is not the way God wants it to be. If he wants us to be together, he will put us together. I kept telling him that all the time. And that's when he kept telling me that I was a strong one. Well, why wasn't he listening to me? I didn't know what else to do. I stopped answering his phone calls. I stopped texting him. And he wouldn't leave me alone.
You had done all you could do, hadn't you? You knew he was going to kill your husband, and there wasn't anything you can do about it. You could have called the police. You could have called Randy. Hey, Randy, this guy's nuts. He's on his way to hurt you. I don't know what's going to happen.
I didn't.
Why didn't you do that? You could have warned Randy. You could have warned your husband that somebody was out to get him.
I did not know what he was planning to do.
You knew what he was going to do because you just said you tried to talk him out of it.
Well, yes, but I didn't know he was going to do something like that.
This man presided over your husband's funeral. The same man that put a bullet in Randy's head sent him off to heaven.
But just really quick here, Joe. I know we're over time. I just wanted to highlight just something really quick. This guy's really, really good. So the tactic he's using, it's question stacking. So they've identified the fact that she is a master manipulator. So when you don't give the subject time to emotionally build, they can't try to use it to control the session. And he's wearing her ass out. Like this is very impressive. Very, very good.
Yeah, he picked up on the words she was saying and will not let those words go. I like that. He picked up on, I tried to tell him, and he will not let that go. He keeps going back to that you just said. Very good job.
No, he is absolute professional. I would not sit in the chair with no wheels against him at all. He's doing a great job with her. And folks, I wouldn't go long on normal things, but it actually gets better.
No.
And what were you thinking about sitting out there in the audience, knowing that this guy had shot your husband, and he's standing up there presiding over his funeral? That had to make your stomach turn. Your stomach had to be turning. It was just knots.
I was sick.
You were.
I was.
But you couldn't tell anybody, could you?
I was scared
Of what?
of him.
You thought he was going to do the same thing to you?
I didn't know what he was going to do.
Did you think he was capable of hurting you?
I would think so, but now I don't know. Now I know he would.
Teresa, how did he get his hands on Randy's gun?
I don't know.
That's the question I need to have answered.
I don't know.
Why don't you know, Teresa?
I
Do you not want to tell me? Do you think it implicates you if you say, I made the gun available to him. I didn't know what he was going to do. I had no idea David was going to shoot Randy. I made sure he's got the gun, though. But I didn't know what he was going to do. No, if that's the case, Teresa, that's okay. That's okay.
I never gave him the gun.
You didn't put the thought in this guy's head, did you? You don't pull.
No.
You don't control this guy. He controls you.
I never gave him the
You
gun.
didn't make him go in there and pull that trigger. But you provided the means of doing it.
I did not give him the gun.
Say again, Jason.
Her comment was interesting. I never gave him the gun. That's a very interesting comment. Might have pointed out where it was, but I never gave it to him.
You gave him access to Randy's gun.
I
did. Yeah, you're right about that.
Kill Randy. You think he just went in your house and took Randy's gun? How does that sound? Teresa, you're not being totally honest. Why are you holding it back?
I'm not
Why are
holding
you
back
holding
anything.
information that you know you want to just talk about? Are you waiting for a better time, a better opportunity?
What do you want me to say?
I want you to tell me how you and David planned to kill Randy.
I did not plan anything to kill my
How
husband.
you entertained David's thoughts and his rantings and ravings about taking your husband's life. You listened to him.
I never.
You probably sat there listening to him. I can't believe this guy is saying this about killing my husband. Didn't you?
That's all
That's
I
what you
did
said.
was listen.
You just listened.
And I kept telling him. I said, "You cannot do this. This is not right."
Yeah. Did you ever say, well, if you want to do it, here's the time to do it?
No.
Here's the best place to do it?
Never.
Here's what you need to do it with?
No.
You never did.
No.
You never told him to
You
go
give
in
me
there
a
at a
stack
certain
of
time
Bibles
of
and I
day.
will swear.
A stack of Bibles. And
I
you will
will
swear
swear,
on
and
that stack
I
of
don't
Bibles.
swear.
You don't swear, but you'll swear on a stack of Bibles that you did not have anything to do with
No,
this guy
I-
planning your husband's death.
No, I did not.
And you think God's going to say, okay, you're right. Teresa, I know your heart.
Yes, he does.
You're forgiven for all these things that you've done. Is God going to tell you that?
God will forgive me, but God knows my heart, and He knows that I'm telling the
You're
truth.
exactly right. God does know your heart.
Yes, He does.
And who do you pray to?
I pray to God.
Who do you ask for forgiveness from?
God.
Who do you ask for repentance from?
God.
Who do you have faith in?
God.
Who did this guy say he prayed to?
The same God that I pray to.
You think? You think he did? Are you guys sharing the same God? Hey, Teresa, I think you know this man.
Teresa. Things ain't good, Teresa. They're not good at all. Okay?
I did.
Listen to me, Teresa. Things are not good. And you're here today because you need to worry about you, Michael, and Miranda. That's what you're here to worry about today. Okay? You're not telling the whole truth. Listen to me, Teresa. There's more that you know that you have not told. It's time to tell it.
okay? If you don't, you're hurting yourself. This is not about anybody but you. You understand what I'm saying, Teresa?
I do.
I'm serious. We've known each other a long time.
I know.
This is about you, Teresa.
I know. I am trying to be honest.
You don't have to try to be, Teresa. You know more than...
I am being
listen,
honest.
Teresa, you know more than you've told them.
No, I don't.
They know more than you're telling them.
Do you understand that, Teresa? We know a whole lot more than you've already mentioned. And you won't even talk about the things we already know you know.
Don't dig yourself into a hole.
What do you want me to say?
Walk us through the planning of Randy's death. How you and David talked about it.
We never talked about anything.
You did. Teresa, you talked about killing, you said it yourself. David would talk about killing Randy.
Yes, he talked about taking care of Randy and his wife. And I kept telling him, no, he cannot do this. This is not the way it's supposed to be.
But what he wants to know is step by step, word by word, what he said, what you said, what happened. What happened? Don't you're talking general there. Be specific.
He told me that he could take care of it. He told me that he could free him and I both, is what he told me. And I kept telling him, I told him, I said, no, you're not.
Did you ever ask him how he would do it?
No.
Did you ever ask him how he could do it?
He never told me, well, he did tell me. He did tell me, he said 1 shot to the head and he would be gone.
One shot to the head, he'd be gone.
Mm-hmm.
What'd you say after that?
I said, no, you're not going to shoot my husband.
Did he say 1 shot to the head and he'll be gone? But I don't have a gun. I don't have a weapon.
No.
And you said,
He's,
I've got one.
no.
I can get one for you.
No, I
can
did
put
not.
one in your hands.
No, I did not.
What did you say?
I never said anything.
What'd you say?
He's the one that said he could get a gun.
I never asked him to kill my husband.
You may not have asked him to kill your husband,
I
Teresa.
never said anything to him about killing my husband.
But did you say, don't you do that? You did not tell him not to do it.
I did too.
What'd you tell him?
I told him, don't you ever do that. I said, don't do that. I said, you're not, that is not right. You're not thinking straight.
What'd you tell him he should do then? What was the alternate plan?
I told him to let God deal with it.
Let God deal with it?
Yes.
How?
If God wants them out of our lives, He will take them out of our lives. I told him that over and over and over again. I don't know how many times I told him that.
And what did he tell you?
He said, you're the strong one. He said, yes, I got to get this out
He
of my
didn't
head.
pick up on the them. He didn't pick
I
up on
never-
the
strong one.
Damn.
That's what he always told me. He said, you're the
What do you think he missed?
He didn't pick up on the them. She said, if God wants them out of our lives, He will take them out of our lives.
Yeah,
I would have jumped on that immediately. Who the hell is them? I thought it was just your husband that was the problem.
strong one.
Well, no, she also mentioned that he would take care of his own wife. He's married to the wonderful brother Love. He's got his own wife, and that's, I think, could be the they there. But no, he didn't appear to really key on that. But let's see what he does do with it.
Is that a position of power that he put you in, or is it a position of power that you earned?
I don't know.
He told you were the strong one. You told him if God wants those people out of our lives, if God wants your wife dead, He'll kill her. If God wants my husband dead, He'll kill him. And what's David hearing all this time? Go ahead and do it, David.
I never said that to him, ever.
Go ahead and do it, David. Kill Randy and we'll be together.
No.
What'd you tell him then?
Nothing. I didn't tell him to do anything.
In his mind, he's thinking, okay, David in the Bible did some killing and God forgave him. David in the Bible killed a man whose woman he wanted. He killed Uriah.
I know
You
that.
understand that?
Yes.
Who did he want? He wanted Uriah's wife. Guess what? Here's David, Love, not in the Bible, killing a man because he wants his wife. And you're right along with the plan.
I was not along with that plan.
You didn't do anything to stop it.
I didn't know he was going to do it.
You had every reason to know he was going to do it, to suspect he was going to do it. He told you.
He did. He told me what he wanted to do.
He told
And
you
I
what he
told
wanted.
him, no,
And
he's
did
not doing
Did the
it.
conversation end there? Did you
Yes.
stop talking about
Yes.
it? Did you talk about it anymore?
No.
After that? No more?
No.
So what'd you talk about after that? Did you move on to something else?
I was trying to move on with my life. I was
Okay.
trying to get out of his life, and he would not leave me alone.
Well, you told me that. You told me he wouldn't leave you alone.
He would not leave me alone. He called me, he texted me, and I wouldn't answer. And that made him more mad.
And matter. Because he's closer to you now because he's eliminated the problem. He's eliminated your husband. He's got no reason to believe that you guys can't be together. Only one more person stands in the way. Thank God he got caught. Or his wife would probably.
You still think it went by him, Lamar? No, yeah. I don't think it slipped by him. If they want them gone, because he just brought up a good thing he got caught because his brother Love's wife could be dead.
Be dying too. Do you ever think about that? Teresa, here's your opportunity.
I think she really needs the toilet paper now.
So you'll know. You know the monster this guy is. You know the monster David Love is. And for some reason, I think you're still trying to protect him.
I am not protecting him. I did not know that he would go through with this. And that is true. I did not think he could do something like this. I never told him to take Randy out of my life. Never.
But you told him if God wanted him out of your life, he would do it.
That's right. In his timing.
In his timing?
In God's timing.
In your mind and in his mind, it's okay to do it now.
It wasn't in my mind ever. I never.
It was in David's mind.
Well, it wasn't in my mind. And I told him that time and time again.
Did you do anything to take it out of his mind?
Yes, I kept telling him to stop thinking about it. Leave it alone.
Did you ever tell him that if Randy is dead, you and I are still not going to be together? Did you tell him that?
Yes, I told him that. I said, we are not going to be together until God puts us together.
And he's thinking, now you're leaving the door open. You're not closing the door, Teresa. That's a closed door. That's an open door. Every time you said, until God puts us together, that leaves the door open for him. Every time you don't kick his butt when he says, I'll shoot your husband in the head, that's leaving the door open for him. Every time you listen to his little weird plans, and you're entertaining him, you're just sitting there, the door's open for him.
Yeah, that's right. She got 8 years in prison
Not enough.
for conspiracy. She should have done that in Texas because convicted her of murder. And there's the husband, the dead man, but which, by the way, was a Marine veteran. Sad story there, folks. Thanks for hanging over with us over time. We hit over 600 viewers tonight. I want to thank everyone for that. That's kind of a big deal for us. No, remove that. Join us on Friday for the grand jury. We've got 5 new grand jurors that will watch the police video use of force videos and let our grand jury decide. I think Jason is going to be one of our expert witnesses this Friday, so we're glad to have you, Jason. Those of you on X, catch us on the in about 20 minutes. We'll do an after party for a little while, talk about these cases, and some of you guys that weren't able to chime in on the side, you can give us your opinions as well. But thank you guys. Thanks for a great show, and special thanks to my panelists and my co-host, Jason and Lamar. Follow them on X, folks.
Did you ever get any money from Costello?
No.
And did you ever get any money from Meyer Lansky?
I never got money from any of those fellas.
None of those
None
fellas?
of those fellas. None of these that I've been reading about, or none that I knew. They never gave me anything.
None of the Fichettes?
No.
You
I
think-
don't even speak to the... I mean, I met that Charlie once or twice. I don't even talk to him.
You don't like him?
I was conscious of the fact that he had a reputation for being an outstanding bookmaker.
You ever hear him referred to as the Prime Minister of the Underworld?
That term I did not.
Also known as Duck Perella. I refuse to answer on the grounds of an attempted. Got any business? I refuse to answer on the grounds of attempted criminal. You have any profession? I refuse to answer on the grounds of made intent. Have any occupation? I refuse to answer on the grounds of made intent. Are you a known racketeer?